Hello, everyone. Today we explore perhaps the most elegant paradox in the world of creation. It's an idea so simple it feels obvious, yet so difficult to achieve, it requires genius. It's the philosophy captured in a quote Steve Jobs revered, often attributed to Leonardo da Vinci. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. In a world that constantly bombards us with more features, more options, more noise, Jobs built an empire on the radical act of taking things away. He didn't just design products, he curated experiences, stripping them down to their absolute essence. But his simplicity wasn't merely minimalist aesthetics. It was the hard-won result of profound understanding. This is the story of that relentless pursuit. We will go inside the mind of Steve Jobs to understand his obsession with simplicity, not as a style, but as the highest form of intelligence and empathy. This is the mind story of finding sophistication in subtraction. The early days of personal computing were defined by complexity. Computers were intimidating beige boxes covered in cryptic buttons and blinking lights. Software came with thick manuals filled with jargon. Using a computer felt like learning a foreign language. Even the graphical interface pioneered at Xerox PARC, while revolutionary, was still cluttered with options and menus designed by engineers for engineers. When Steve Jobs saw the potential of the GUI, his immediate reaction wasn't just to copy it, but to simplify it. His target was the mouse. The Xerox mouse had 3 buttons. Jobs famously demanded that the Apple mouse have only one. His engineers protested vehemently. They argued that multiple buttons were necessary for complex software, for contextual menus, for power users. How could you possibly do everything with just one button? Jobs didn't care about the technical arguments. He cared about the feeling. He wanted the mouse to be utterly intuitive, an extension of the hand that required zero thought. He wanted his mother to be able to use it instantly. This battle over the single button became a defining moment. It wasn't just about hardware, it was about a philosophy. It was about forcing the complexity away from the user and into the software. The engineers had to work 10 times harder to make the software smart enough to understand the user's intent with just one click. This pattern repeated itself throughout Apple's history. The removal of the floppy drive from the iMac, the intuitive click wheel on the iPod that replaced confusing buttons, the elimination of the physical keyboard on the iPhone. Each step was a war against ingrained complexity, a relentless drive to make the technology disappear behind a simple, elegant experience. They're showing me the designs again. More buttons, more menus, more options. They think complexity equals power. They think features equal value. They're engineers. They love solving hard problems, but they don't see the real hard problem. The real hard problem isn't adding more, it's taking away. Da Vinci was right. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, but it's not easy. It's the hardest thing in the world. Why? Because to make something truly simple, you have to understand it on a profoundly deep level. You have to understand the essence of the problem you're trying to solve, the core need of the user. You have to understand it so well that you can strip away everything non-essential, everything extraneous, until only the pure, elegant solution remains. A feeling of clarity and conviction. Look at this mouse. 3 buttons. Why 3? Because the engineers couldn't decide which functions were most important, so they punted. They put the burden of complexity onto the user. That's lazy design. That's abdicating responsibility. We need to make the hard choices for the user. 1 button. It forces clarity. It forces us, the designers, to make the software smart enough to figure out what the user wants to do. The sophistication isn't in the hardware. It's hidden in the intelligence of the software. It's the same with the product line. Why do we need 50 different models of computers? It just confuses people. Let's make 4. Just 4. 2 for consumers, 2 for pros. Desktop and portable. Simple, clear. It makes the choice effortless for the customer. It forces us to make each of those 4 products insanely great. It's about subtraction. It's about saying no. Saying no to 1,000 features. Saying no to compromises. Saying no to the easy path of just adding 1 more button. Every time you add something, you dilute the experience. True elegance is achieved not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. This isn't just about aesthetics. It's not just minimalism. It's about function. It's about making the technology disappear. So the user isn't thinking about the tool, they're thinking about their work, their creativity, their connection. The ultimate sophistication is invisibility. Jobs' pursuit of simplicity was far more than just a preference for clean lines. It was a deeply ingrained philosophy with three core components. Principle number 1, deep understanding precedes simplicity. This is the crucial counterpoint to superficial minimalism. Jobs wasn't just making things look simple, he was making them simple because he understood the underlying complexity on a profound level. True simplicity isn't about ignoring complexity, it's about mastering it. As he said, it takes a lot of hard work to make something simple, to truly understand the underlying challenges and come up with elegant solutions. The single-button mouse wasn't a simpler idea. It required vastly more complex software engineering. The lesson? Simplicity is the end result of deep thought, not the starting point. You can only simplify what you truly understand. Principle number 2, the courage to subtract. In a world driven by feature creep and the fear of missing out, actively removing features, buttons, or options requires immense courage. Every feature has a constituency, someone who argues for its necessity. Saying no is hard. Removing the floppy drive from the iMac, for example, was met with howls of protest. But Jobs had the conviction that floppy disks were the past, and USB was the future. He forced the transition by removing the old option. This principle teaches us that innovation often requires not just adding the new, but bravely removing the old. Simplicity isn't achieved by consensus, it's achieved by decisive leadership willing to make hard choices and eliminate the non-essential. Principle number 3, simplicity as the ultimate function. For Jobs, simplicity wasn't just about how things looked, it was about how they worked. A simple interface is easier to learn, faster to use, and less prone to errors. The iPod's click wheel wasn't just elegant, it was the most efficient way to navigate thousands of songs. The iPhone's touch interface wasn't just cool, it allowed the screen to become whatever the user needed it to be. The insight here is that simplicity is not the opposite of power, it is the pathway to power. By removing friction and cognitive load, simple design empowers the user and makes the technology feel intuitive, almost invisible. The function is the feeling of effortlessness. This philosophy of achieving sophistication through simplicity is a powerful tool we can apply everywhere. First, simplify your communication. Look at your emails, your reports, your presentations. Are they filled with jargon, unnecessary words, and complex sentences? Challenge yourself to communicate your core message with absolute clarity. Could you say it in half the words? Could you replace that complex chart with a simple statement? True intelligence isn't demonstrated by using big words. It's demonstrated by making complex ideas understandable. Practice the art of the simple explanation. Second, declutter your decisions. Our lives are filled with overwhelming choices. What should I work on next? What should I buy? What should I focus on? Apply the principle of subtraction. Instead of asking, what more can I do? Ask, what can I remove? What tasks can you eliminate? What possessions can you let go of? What commitments can you say no to? By reducing the number of decisions you have to make, you free up mental energy for the decisions that truly matter. Finally, design your work for effortlessness for others. Whether you're designing software, organizing an event, or managing a team, constantly ask, how can I make this simpler for the end user? Where is the friction? Where is the confusion? What steps can I remove? Taking on the burden of complexity yourself so that the experience feels effortless for others is the hallmark of true sophistication and empathy. Don't just solve the problem, make the solution feel magical. Steve Jobs' relentless pursuit of simplicity wasn't just a design choice, it was a worldview. It was a belief that the deepest truths are often the simplest, and that the highest form of creation involves revealing the essential by removing the superfluous. He understood that sophistication isn't about complexity, it's about clarity. It's about understanding something so deeply that you can communicate its essence in the cleanest possible way. In a world drowning in complexity, his legacy is a powerful reminder. True genius doesn't add, it subtracts. True sophistication isn't loud, it's quiet. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can build is the space you create by taking things away.